Okay, you are live.
Good morning. We'll call the July 20th meeting of the Downtown Development Authority's Exec and Finance Committee meeting to order. And Adam, could you take the roll, please?
Heather, were you jumping in?
I can do that.
I'm sorry, Heather?
That's okay. So, okay, Peter Dewan,
Present.
James Kroom,
Present.
Mike Kruger,
Present.
George Lahanas.
Present.
Okay,
We have an agenda that's been presented by staff. I move to approve the agenda and ask for a second. It's been seconded
Support.
by Michael. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? The agenda passes unanimously. We have an opportunity for the public to weigh in. Since this will be a short meeting, if need be, we can go to 5 minutes, but we'll adopt the 2-minute rule. And I ask for a second on
Second for
that.
George.
Seconded by George. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes unanimously. At this time, is there anyone that wishes to address the Exec and Finance Committee?
We do have one caller.
Okay,
Was that for
Thank
the
you.
communications from the audience, Peter?
yes.
Okay,
We're on
yeah.
two on our agenda.
Callers will be identified by the last 3 digits of their phone number. When called on, you will be unmuted. If you do not wish to speak, please indicate so by saying pass. Caller with the last 3 digits ending in 333, you will be unmuted and given 2 minutes to speak. Again, if you do not wish to speak, please say pass.
Thank you. This is Chris Root calling in. Hello, everybody. I think I can do this in 2 minutes. I wanted to address your agenda item this morning, number 6, Legal Services RFQP Submissions Review. My thought is, I'm wondering if you have considered asking that the people who would consider becoming the lawyer for the DDA could also provide services to the BRA. And I raise this because I've been following the last couple of BRA meetings at which there's been a continuing debate about how to interpret the legal documents under which the current bond for the Center City District and the refinancing bond would be, what is the basis for those bonds and the parameters for them. And it seems to me from those meetings that it would be extremely helpful for the BRA to have new counsel that was not involved in interpreting the current original bond, but to help you consider the refinancing bond conditions. And rather than, I know you're waiting to have a financial advisor help you with that, I don't think the financial advisor is going to give you legal advice about the legal basis. So I'm wondering if, in order to avoid long delay, whether it might be possible for the people you are considering for DDA counsel to also provide you counsel on this matter for the BRA. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for calling in. Great question. We, just as a status, we are presently awaiting responses to the RFP. These are questions clearly we could ask our potential legal counsel. The original intent of the Brownfield Authority and the DDA was to have our own separate legal counsel that could work in tandem with the city attorney. Now that there are some changes at that level, there's a lot of questions that will be certainly asked by DDA members and Brownfield members. But I know that's not a complete response to your question, Chris, but more to follow. We're presently just in the status of gaining responses to our RFP, but these are good questions that we can ask and evaluate the opinion of other members on the Brownfield Authority. So thank you for your call. Any other communications from the audience, Adam?
No, no one else has called in.
Okay, thank you. And Heather, are there any written communications? Item 3 on our agenda?
No, there are not.
Okay. Can we go right into our financial report then, which would be our DDA's June treasurer's report? Is there anything of note that you would like to highlight, Heather?
Just one item. Again, if you recall, this is our June 30th is the end of our fiscal year. We will not have a final staff or a final financial report until the audit's completed, and that's typically late fall, around November, December, we'll see a final report. The only item I wanted to point out at this time is under the project development fund and the capital outlay account. So as you know, we wrapped up a sidewalk project, the Grand River Sidewalk Project, and that was funded under our project development. I'm sorry, let me share the screen here. There we go. This was paid for out of our project development fund, which was account 8460. And so we're seeing the expenses come through that account for the sidewalk project. Due to it being a capital expense, we are going, our finance department has moved some of those expenses already down to the capital outlay. As you can see, 9001 capital outlay, $154,976.85. So that relates to the Grand River Sidewalk Project. So what I'll be doing is I will be, you'll see an adjustment. We will reduce our expense or our budget in the project development fund by the amount of the Grand River Sidewalk Project, and we'll reallocate that those budget dollars to the capital outlay. But I did want to point that out because if you look at this, it looks like we have no budget and we spend $154,000. In reality, what it is it's just we need to reduce this $438,085 by the Grand River Sidewalk amount. So this will balance out, and then the capital outlay revenue and expenses will balance out. So you'll see that when we bring this back next month. That's the only thing I really wanted to point out. Otherwise, it's pretty much just status quo. We're starting to see some expenses for the downtown cleaning, the outdoor dining area cleaning. We're starting to see some expenses this month, and this includes cleaning supplies and staff costs as part of that. So again, this is our preliminary June 30th report. We'll bring it back next month and the following month until, and it will be in draft form until we have that audit complete. So does anybody have any questions on that, what I just explained about the Grand River Sidewalk Project?
I'm not in town, but can you refresh me on the status of it?
Of the Grand River Sidewalk Project?
Yeah, I've been out of town for a few months.
Yep, so that project just wrapped up. They came back last week. There was a couple cracks they had to complete, but otherwise it is complete. The brick pavers are in, the trees are planted, the rubber mulch is in, the sidewalk looks really nice. They completed the traffic coating in front of the areas where they couldn't remove the sidewalk due to the vaults underneath, and that's on Grand River, but it looks very nice. What I can do is I can get some pictures and I can share those with the board also. But it looks identical to that whole block now between Abbott and MAC has all new sidewalk and the brick pavers behind the back of curb, and it's all very consistent and looks nice, clean, no more trip hazards. So it looks really good. So good project. Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. I'll be anxious to see it. Thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Heather. Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to our discussion about the agenda for this coming Thursday. We're going to have an action-packed agenda.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Or do you want to provide an overview, Heather?
Sure. Just standard, we'll have our minutes. We have the resignation from Jill Rohde. As you know, she resigned from both the DDA and BRA. So this is part of the DDA. We have the election of the DDA treasurer. I know that the election already took place at the BRA. So this is just a formality that Mike is has already been appointed to that position. We have the adoption of the time limit. Our financial report that I just reviewed. We have one written communication at this time, email from Alice Drager. Staff will provide updates under communications from staff on the ongoing downtown projects. We have the Abbott, we'll be giving an update on that for the Park District project. Under our business agenda, item 6.1, 1234 East Grand River. They're looking for adult use recreational marijuana. If you recall, this is one of the locations that was approved last year, or this past spring, I believe it was, for medical marijuana. They are now coming back for recreational marijuana. This will be on the project and infrastructure meeting committee agenda following this meeting. We have a modified special use permit for 300 West Grand River. They want to convert some retail space on the first floor into a fitness center. River Caddis Memorandum of Understanding. River Caddis has submitted a, oh shoot, let me look at notes here, has submitted a, along with a request for an extension on their MOU. And I know that Tom and Adam, if there's any questions, can answer those. But those, there'll be a staff memo along with those two items for that item. MSU FCU site plan, SUP. Again, this will be a presentation on our project and infrastructure meeting following this. David Haywood will be presenting. Legal services RFQ submissions, and we'll be discussing that after this review of the agenda. And then we have our, the DMB is requesting changes to the project budget. If you recall, back in June, they came to the DDA requesting $20,000 for some activities and different events they wanted to do downtown. And now they want to modify how those funds will be spent. So, and then we have our committee meetings that are standard, along with reports from on the DMB and the parking task force.
So just a quick question, Heather, for several of the items where there will be an accompanying staff report, when can members expect to receive that?
Today.
Like for, oh, today. Okay, great.
Yep. So that following our meetings today, later this afternoon, we'll be publishing the DDA agenda, and it'll have all the staff reports and everything attached. Yep. So
that will be links via the web.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yep.
Any questions of board members on the agenda for this coming Thursday's meeting? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 6 on our agenda, the legal services contract and RFP submission review. My understanding is that we have maybe received a response or two, and yet we're still anticipating additional responses. Is that correct?
Peter, this is Adam. So yeah, you are correct. We received 2 responses, and we wanted to consider extending the deadline to solicit additional responses.
Okay. Yeah, that deadline should certainly be extended. And perhaps we can have a broader reach. I don't know the process by which staff has gone out to solicit responses to RFP. Can you explain that real quickly? Yeah,
we created a contact list from various legal websites and associations here in Michigan, and blasted out the RFP to that contact list, as well as posted it, on our city website. We have been discussing alternatives to, get a broader reach. And so we're looking into that currently.
Okay. Yeah, well, clearly, I think we need to make certain we're availing ourselves to potentially all interested parties. So as expansive as that list can be would probably be helpful. Any other comments about that RFP from board members?
I have a comment, Peter.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
I just want to encourage and to dovetail on Chris Root's point, which you and I had already discussed, Peter. It would be super if we can assure that that firms who would have sort of a 1-2 punch, being a real estate person and the person who could review sort of the municipal documents, being the underlying bond documents, the development agreement, the resolutions passed by council and all that. It'd be great if, I don't know if those are the same people within firms, but typically those might be larger law firms that would have different areas of expertise that could meld them together for us and be of more use. So just a suggestion. Thanks, Adam.
I think that's a great suggestion, Jim, and to the degree that we can round out services from one firm probably would be helpful from a cost standpoint as well. Any additional comments from board members or announcements? We're going to adjourn the meeting. I'll offer a motion to adjourn because we have to get ready for the P&I meeting. Ask for a second on that motion to adjourn. Seconded by Michael. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.